Good evening and welcome to NNX from the Northwestern News Network. I'm Gabriela Amburher-Medallo.
And I'm Callie Proctor. Let's get right into this week's top stories. 9 months into a contract dispute, campus food service and hospitality workers are continuing to speak out against their employer Compass. Joined by several Evanston City Council members and Mayor Daniel Biss, workers picketed by Weber Arch Friday morning and afternoon. The picket came after a 24-hour bargaining session did not result in a resolution. The picket also came 8 days after Unite Here Local 1, the group representing campus service workers, filed a federal complaint against Compass. In the complaint, the union accuses Compass of unfair practices, bad faith negotiations, and retaliation against workers who participated in the strike last March.
Strike was paused earlier in March after 12 days. The strike could resume at any time.
Joining us here now in the studio is NNN's Alicia Tang, who covered this picket. Alicia, how was this picket related to the strikes in March?
Yeah, so Kelly, the protest last Friday was indeed a continuation of that fight for higher pay and better pensions. However, what happened on Friday was an informational picket in that everyone participating was either on break or was not scheduled to work for that day. The timing of the protest, I will bring up, was really particular in that it came exactly about a week after the complaint was filed with the National Labor Relations Board.
And how long will it take for them to investigate the complaint?
Well, on average, it takes the board anywhere from 7 to 14 weeks, although it could take even longer than that, depending on the complexity of the case and the compliance of those involved.
And finally, how did the workers feel about protesting?
I did speak to a worker wearing a pin that read, "I do not want to strike, but I will." And I think that pretty well encapsulates how the workers are feeling. On the one hand, they are determined to get what they're bargaining for, but on the other hand, they don't necessarily want to be out on the front lines picketing and striking when they could be back in their jobs and serving the students.
Thank you for joining us, Alicia.
Thanks for having me.
Talks of alliances between higher education institutions nationwide are being solidified for Northwestern in the Big Ten Mutual Defense Compact. Northwestern's Faculty Senate voted to sign an amended version of the Mutual Defense Compact last Wednesday. This has been approved by more than half of the faculty senates across the Big Ten to unify resources in defense of member universities targeted by the federal government. Although Northwestern has not been officially notified of a funding freeze, this comes amid many stop work orders and grant terminations for university projects. Big Ten presidents and chancellors will meet in California at the end of May to formally consider the proposal.
And with grocery prices already at a high across the nation, Evanston's Finance and Budget Committee is deliberating a new grocery tax to replace an expiring statewide one. The new Finance and Budget Committee is meeting today for the first time after new council members were sworn in. Their responsibility will start with addressing Evanston's budget deficit. The city currently earns $2.5 million in annual taxes from grocery shopping, which comes from a statewide sales tax on groceries expiring at the end of this year.
To ask struggling families to pay even a little bit more for food that they're already having a hard time putting on their tables is not something that anybody would be super excited about. On the other hand, we need to make up our revenue somewhere.
Evanston's committee will have to decide whether to keep this tax or to maintain earnings.
Dillo Day will be looking a little different this year, thanks to the ongoing construction projects around campus. Due to the construction near Norris University Center, students will go through the Arts Circle Drive instead of entering the Lakeville through Norris East Lawn. While the main stage will remain in its location behind Kellogg's Global Hub, it will shift so that it will face Chicago instead of the lake. Other minor changes, including narrower paths, are also expected, but construction is not expected to impact performances.
And speaking of Dillo, Mayfest Productions announced Natasha Bedingfield as this year's Dillo Day headliner on Thursday. The British-New Zealand singer is known for pop hits like Unwritten, Pocketful of Sunshine, and These Words. Her chart-topping song Unwritten peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2004 and has since become a soundtrack to self-expression for many. Bedingfield will close out the day-long Dillo celebration, following previously announced acts such as Raven Lenae and Big X the Plug. Unwritten has had a pop culture comeback in recent years, from rom-com Anyone But You to TikTok remixes. Now it will be taking center stage right here at Northwestern.
Childcare Network of Evanston, or CNE, hosted its annual 0 to 5K fundraiser to support early childhood programming. From full-day care and at-home visits to mental health support, CNE says their services benefit over 450 children each year. Evanston residents showed up in full force, many jogging with friends or walking as families, in support of accessible, equitable childcare and health services.
It's a super feel-good community event, and it just energizes us, in the work that we do. When we head back to the office on Monday, everybody will be smiling and happy about what we accomplished here today.
For more information, you can check out their website, www.childcarenetworkofevanston.org.
Local restaurant and live music spot Prairie Moon is celebrating its 23rd year in Evanston. The establishment, an Evanston happy hour hotspot since 2002, invited community members and patrons old and new for their anniversary celebration on Thursday. To commemorate its impact, First Ward Council member Claire Kelly welcomed Evanstonians and introduced classic rock cover band Expo 76. The restaurant also created a special menu for the night of what it called its greatest hits.
We always consider ourselves not just a restaurant, but a real community venue. We try to get involved in as much as we possibly can.
If you want to hear some jazz hits, Prairie Moon is hosting jazz artists Wednesday evenings through the rest of May.
Northwestern's women's lacrosse and the university beat the University of Michigan in a record-setting NCAA tournament game on Sunday. Junior attacker Madison Taylor scored 10 goals for the team, setting a new tournament record. The match concluded with a final score of 15-7. This second-round win over Michigan advances the team to the quarterfinals. The Cats, who are hosting the tournament at Northwestern Medicine Field, will face off against the University of Pennsylvania Thursday at 11 a.m.
This weekend, the 94th annual WAMU show played their last performance after 2 weekends in Conn Auditorium. This year's student-written show was called Arch Madness and took viewers from dimension to dimension. The long-standing Northwestern tradition this year was a satirical take on student life at Northwestern that included overloading classes, parents, and career uncertainty. Alumni and current students got a kick out of the show, with some coming from as far as Arkansas to see it.
We've been coming up the last few years because my son has been here, so it's been a lot of fun because I went here, my sisters went here.
Organizers say that they are excited to continue the tradition, made possible by alumni support, as WAMU's 100th anniversary approaches.
The Unity Charity's fashion show's annual runway brought both professional and student fashion designs to life at Chicago's Artifact Events venue last Thursday. NNN's Katarzyna Nguyen was there.
Following the theme of myth, Unity Charity Fashion Show featured pieces from professional and student designers of all skill levels. The show included visual and performing arts through fashion and a dance performance from Reflections Repertory Company. One of Unity's executive directors, Kate Matthews, has been involved with Unity since her freshman year. She says she enjoyed seeing how designers interpreted this year's theme.
There's a lot of sort of cultural touchstones or people's own sort of family or histories or backgrounds that you could sort of look to for inspiration, but there's also a broader universe than that.
This year, ticket profits go to Snow City Arts, a local organization providing professional arts education to students who are currently hospitalized.
Students who work with us can get school credit for the art that they make with us to ensure that they don't fall behind.
For Tiger Lee, the Unity show was their first time modeling. In the months leading up, Unity provided weekly classes on walking and posing to help them feel confident on show day.
I was really excited about just letting everything go and how that would accentuate my looks.
Executive Director Annika Wilsnack has been part of Unity for 3 years. She says Unity allows her to pursue a creative outlet outside the classroom.
There's so much that you learn through trial and error and through working with our community to make everything happen.
In Chicago, Katarzyna Nguyen, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Katarzyna. For the full list of designers, you can follow at Unity Fashion Show on Instagram. Did you get a chance to go to the fashion show?
I did not, but I had some friends who went and they said it was a lot of fun. They had a really great time. What about you? Did you get the chance to check it out at all?
I didn't. I'm not the most into fashion. I don't even know what I'm wearing for Dillo Day yet.
Oh yeah, me neither. I'm still working that out.
Well, I'm sure I'll figure out by Saturday.
Mm-hmm. That's all the time we have for tonight.
Stay tuned for the Northwestern at 7 p.m. I'm Gabriella Umblicher Medallo.
And I'm Callie Proctor. Have a good night.